A protected rainforest that was actually a parking lot. A massive oil company branded as an environmental savior. And a multi-billion-dollar market selling a product that physically does not exist. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how the carbon credit industry is the greatest accounting fraud of the 21st century. You are about to see how the world's biggest polluters invented a way to monetize their own destruction, turning the collapse of the biosphere into a tradable financial asset. Stop looking at the smoke coming out of the factory stacks. Look at your own receipt. Next time you book a flight, look at that little box. Offset your carbon footprint for $5. Next time you buy a pair of sneakers, look at the label. Carbon neutral. You click the button. You pay the extra fee. You feel a wash of relief. You did your part. You saved the planet. You were scammed. That money didn't plant a tree. It didn't stop a glacier from melting. It went into a complex financial derivative designed to absolve you of guilt while ensuring nothing changes. You are paying a conscience tax. But the cost isn't just the $5 you lost. The cost is the air you breathe. By believing this lie, you allowed the corporation to keep polluting your lungs. They told you that you could fix climate change with your wallet, just so they wouldn't have to fix it with their business model. You are not saving the future. You are funding the PR campaign that hides the apocalypse. To understand the shell game, we have to look at the mechanics of the market. It is a system of indulgences for the modern age. It operates in 3 cynical steps. Step 1 is the setup, the cap-and-trade loophole. In theory, the idea was sound. Governments would put a cap on how much pollution a company could create. If you went over the cap, you paid a fine. But the industry lobbyists fought back. They demanded a loophole. They said, what if, instead of cutting our emissions, we just pay someone else to cut theirs? This created the offset. A steel mill in Ohio doesn't need to install cleaner filters. They just need to pay a guy in Brazil to not cut down a forest. On paper, the math balances. -1 ton of carbon here, plus 1 ton of carbon there. Net zero. But in reality, the pollution in Ohio is real. The saving in Brazil is hypothetical. Step 2 is the trick. Phantom forests. How do you prove you saved a forest? You have to prove that, without your money, the forest would have been destroyed. This is called additionality. It is a lie based on a counterfactual reality. Project developers go to a forest that was never in danger. They say, we were totally going to chop this down. Then they accept the credit money and say, okay, we won't chop it down. They got paid for doing nothing. Or worse, they protect one patch of forest, so the loggers just move 5 miles down the road and cut down that patch instead. This is called leakage. The pollution continues. The trees still fall, but the credits are generated and sold to an airline so they can claim to be green. Step 3 is the proof. This is not a theory. The investigation is complete. In January 2023, The Guardian, Dye, Zeit, and Source Material published a bombshell investigation into Verra. Verra is the world's leading carbon standard certifier. They issue the credits used by Disney, Gucci, and Shell. The investigation analyzed the rainforest offset credits approved by Verra. The result? More than 90% of them were phantom credits. Worthless. They did not represent real carbon reduction. Gucci had to quietly scrub carbon neutral from their website. But the money had already changed hands. The pollution had already been released into the atmosphere. We have documents showing that major corporations bought these credits knowing they were dubious, simply because they were cheaper than actually reducing emissions. So, where does the money go? It flows to the brokers, the consultants, the verifiers. There is an entire ecosystem of middlemen who take a cut of every transaction. They have turned nature into a speculative asset class. And there is a darker side, green colonialism. To generate these credits, companies often seize control of land in Africa, South America, and Southeast Asia. They kick indigenous people off their ancestral land, people who have protected that forest for thousands of years, so they can fence it off and sell the carbon rights to a bank in London. The indigenous people lose their homes. The public loses a livable climate. But the polluters, they win. They get to keep burning fossil fuels. They get to slap a sustainable sticker on their product. And they get to charge you a premium for it. They successfully exited the moral responsibility while locking in the profits. We have tried to financialize the laws of physics. We thought we could negotiate with the atmosphere using spreadsheets. But the atmosphere doesn't care about your accounting tricks. It doesn't care about net zero marketing campaigns. It only cares about the total amount of carbon in the sky. And that number is still going up. We are buying and selling the right to destroy the Earth, trading permits to poison our own children. The carbon credit market is not a solution to the crisis. It is a capitalistic mechanism designed to delay the solution until it is profitable to sell you a lifeboat. The question isn't, did you offset your flight? The question is, why is it legal to sell a license to kill the future?